I'm a 3D artist, and in this video, I gave YouTubers their very own Lego sets and even got a professional Lego builder to rate them from 1 to 10. And we're starting with I Did a Thing. For the set itself, I'm using this basic 8x8 room structure, which has pins and connectors so they can snap together using a bunch of interesting configurations. Now, this guy makes most of his projects in a garage, so I started hyper-analyzing the crab farming video to reconstruct what his garage actually looks like. For example, this lathe in the corner, which I tactically ascertained from the video and built using a cabinet, some white plates, and what is this? I think it's an inkwell. It's even got the cord running from the wall outlet. Minor trip hazard, sure, but it looks great. But then I suddenly remembered that the most important part of a lathe is the big red button that tells it to stop what it's doing immediately, so I added that feature post-haste. Next up, we got the shelving situation. We don't have too much room here, so I went with one shelf and one workbench. I even added the hanging shelf you can see mounted here. As a dabbler myself, I'm a bit surprised at how dirty the benches are, specifically that it's not dirtier. I mean, seriously, I think if you can name an object on the bench, we've got work to do, brother. For the crab farming buckets, I decided to use these white containers with clear doors, which don't actually work the same way, but Lego actually has two different types of crabs. You've got the big boys right here. I mean, what is this? It's like the size of a person. And then you got the little handheld hermit crabs, which I'm using here, but if they don't get their personal space, bad things will happen. Very bad things will happen. Speaking of crabs, this isn't the first time I Did a Thing has done a thing with crabs. There's also the armored Dark Souls crab from a few years back, which I sculpted a custom piece for. And yeah, I wouldn't say this is the most intimidating armored crab I've ever seen, but I'm not exactly an expert in the field either. This is supposed to be the wooden axe from the one video. I'll just put that up there with the crab. Okay, now it's a little bit more intimidating. Let's see, what else could we do? Oh yeah, who could forget about the robot dog with a large paintball accessory on it? Thankfully, I already have a Boston Dynamics dog model from the Michael Reeves set, so it's as simple as changing the colors and adding the thing. Anyway, next up is the 50 caliber boxing glove. I don't know how he gets away with this stuff. What's next? Oh, how about we film the next video in North Korea?
North Korea, the most dangerous country in the world.
What? Before I move on to the next one, there's still a couple of details where if I didn't add them, it would just be malpractice on my part. Like the ominous stack of wood planks from who knows where that every single shop has, likely containing at least one extinct species of hardwood. Next, I added the Beyblade, which was created from a giant cartoon circular saw. We'll just throw that on the floor. Hopefully no one's in here during an earthquake or anything. Right above that, we'll put some unmarked chemicals. That way you can learn how to tell printer resin from various acids by smell alone in the wild. And last but not least, a single uranium glass mug on top of the lathe, which I don't think he actually has, but it feels like something he would have. Now, the minifigure for this one is going to be interesting because even though it's just the basic minifigure shape, throughout all of my research, I realized this dude never wears shoes. What? Someone better call animal control the way these dogs are always unleashed. You think stepping on a Lego is bad? How about metal shards? Okay, how about leaky chemicals? For the head, I used a modified Elvis hairpiece, and when I say modified, I mean 30 minutes in the surgery room. It's not unusual for my minifigure faces to look unhinged when I first start making them, but what I have made here today is so far beyond disturbing that it feels like I've opened a window into something I wasn't supposed to see. It's like it's staring into my soul. What do I even do now that I can no longer forget that the human mind and all of its depravity is capable of conceiving this? Well, the pupils could be larger. In the end, it still took a couple hours, maybe some therapy later on down the line, but I was finally able to capture the mental consequences of growing up in Australia. Also, I added a cute apron. Compared to the rest of the diorama, this bad boy appears to fit just perfectly, but unfortunately the shelf protrudes about 0.2 studs out of the box, which means it's utterly unusable. The set comes out to 130 pieces total, which usually costs around $10 or $15. I think that's perfectly reasonable, but if I'm going to impress the Lego expert, I'm going to need more than just one set. For the next YouTuber, I'm going with Captain Sparkles, who's been playing Minecraft on YouTube since I was saying goo goo gaga at the ripe age of 7. Yeah, I had a complicated childhood. For the room on this one, I wanted to do the set piece for Revenge, his most popular video. Among Minecraft parodies, 300 million views is typically considered to be pretty good. I put one note that in the last video, and at least 200 people hit the nostalgia spiral. I'm using the same basic room template as the other Minecraft YouTuber dioramas, which are actually super fun and interesting because it reduces my already cramped 8x8 area into a 4x4 block area. So I started out my 9 block allocation with this oak floor with glowstone in the middle, referencing the video to figure out how I'm gonna play this. Around this time, I believe I became the first person to ever realize that this room is some kind of SCP non-Euclidean backrooms architecture that does not belong in Minecraft. You got vertical slabs all up and down the place, the stars and the moon are moving sideways, and maybe I'm just going crazy, but that looks like up-facing stone to me. So with the knowledge that this video takes place in an alternate nightmare dimension, I decided to start breaking some of my own laws of Minecraft physics by just kind of smashing the entire fireplace into this 2D projection on the west wall. For the other less cool wall, I built a micro version of one of these windows with the grass planters on either side. I even tried to work in these wool accents, kind of scuffed, but we take what we can get. It's kind of easy to miss, but there's a table and chair set up in the video, so I added that over here in the corner. And with that, the room itself is pretty much ready to go. For texture, I swapped the cobblestone out with bricks. That way it distinguishes itself from the pathetic regular stone over here. Now let's talk details. Here's a fun one. The fireplace is just a PNG of fire on a transparent square. Now I have to disclose, Lego actually does have a piece for this, but it's just not in the software since they only have 100,000 Lego pieces, like a bunch of chumps, but I probably couldn't use it anyway given the one stud nature of this fireplace, so you know. Torch, classic, get it up there. This is a build taken directly from the real Lego Minecraft sets, which to some parties may or may not actually resemble the Minecraft torch, but this is a Lego video, not a Minecraft video, okay? We're getting dangerously close to Minecraft YouTuber status here, and I have to avoid that at all costs. We're also using more complicated shaders this time with screen beveling and subsurface scattering, so it looks like some real RTX on material. I mean, look how you can see the light bleeding through the thin parts of the plastic. I take my low effort, unserious projects very seriously. For the minifigure, I started with the basic Lego Minecraft minifigure, which sometimes looks a little strange, but it's not like that affects Lego's bottom line. Chavez, pull up the white villager minifigure on the Lego stock market, which is worth about $200 and has an annualized return better than any other stable asset in the world. I was able to just map the skin directly onto the pieces for the most part, but I realized Lego never does leg textures for the Minecraft sets, so I'm gonna have to take these back. Next, I added a creeper who may or may not be stealing our stuff again. Not that there's anything in this room to steal. What are they gonna take? The fireplace? The final set comes out to 113 pieces and looks right at home with the rest of the dioramas. It's not the most complicated, but at least this one stays in the bounding box. Wait, hold on a minute. Scrap it. Scrap the whole set. My call with the Lego expert was coming up quick, which means my next set needs to be the best one yet by a large margin. But before we get to that, this video is sponsored by Mint Mobile, who I'm a big fan of as someone with a lot of experience having a phone. A little too much experience based on my screen time in particular. They offer wireless plans starting at $15 a month, and they've been doing exactly that for the past 8 years. There's no hidden fees, there's no price gouging, and there is no Queen of England. You can keep your phone number and contacts because you never know when you're gonna need to text your kindergarten teacher in the middle of the night, and it's all doable from the comfort of your own home or couch or potentially crusty gamer chair. The whole process takes place online. Just pick how many months you want, how much data you want, that way you don't have to pay for data you didn't use, TikToks you didn't watch, and if you change your mind, they've got you covered with a 7-day money-back guarantee, unconditionally with any of their plans. I mean, that's just a good deal. So stop overpaying for no good reason and break out of the traditional wireless stranglehold with Mint Mobile's premium plans, which start at $15 a month. But that's enough of that. Let's get back to the video. For my next YouTuber, I'm going with Moist Critical, who is known for being very moist and very critical. I'm not doing the voice. So the brother actually uploaded a room tour, but it wasn't called that. It was called The Room Situation is Crazy or something like that. This is probably the most cramped room I've had to make so far. I started with these white baseboards and the carpet color on the carpet. He's got this insane custom built desk shelf combination unit, which I left open on the back so you can still see everything. I can't look at this without wanting to build it in real life, so I moved on to the shelving in the back. There's probably about 100 individual items I could make here, but I simplified it down so I can fit more things. I'm trying to prioritize things you can actually see in the background of most videos, like this goof juice fridge in the back, which I nailed to the wall with flex glue. There's also this claw machine, which I built using a backwards transparent cabinet filled with hats. There's only one small problem with this build, which is that it's a claw machine with no claw, so I'll just put a disembodied hand in here and we'll just pretend it's actively grabbing something. The chair fits on the floor in the middle here just barely, and I did regrettably decide to skip the magic closet alongside a long list of other things. One thing I couldn't skip was this God Slap poster in the back, which is a comic book series produced by the man himself. I thought it would be funny if I started a new Blender file and made this cel-shaded anime minifigure pose to swap in there and blend it together in Photoshop. Now, I'm not great at Photoshop, and if you look closely, the hand is like in the face, but it makes me giggle, so we're keeping it. Next, I added this Halo helmet to the shelf, which I built using the Alien Conquest helmets and this golden visor. This purple heart here is supposed to be Majora's Mask. Probably should add the eyes. There we go. TV in the back built out of a Minecraft head. These trophy pieces kind of look like figurines, so let's just add like 10 of those. And finally, I built the monitors. Well, one of them. This here is supposed to be the same microphone that you can see in the video. The computer goes right here under the desk. Or is it a PS5 that I couldn't fit onto the shelf next to the GameCube? The world may never know. I couldn't find these Goof Juice decals anywhere, so I did some Photoshop perspective extraction magic. And yeah, maybe I didn't really try that hard for the drinks portion, but I'm feeling like enough work has gone into this one. So for the minifigure this time, I'm trying to nail that nuanced and mildly uninterested expression. You can achieve this by closing the eyes halfway, like he's half asleep or something. The shirt is pretty basic, but I added these wrinkles just to be able to say that I put effort into it. Dual molded legs with dark blue shorts to fit the logo or something. Why do none of these YouTubers ever wear socks, man? I'm concerned. My editors are concerned. But hey, I just make the minifigures. You do you, I say. I did manage to find this hair piece, which I think captures the glorious flow fairly well. But just in case, I also made this version, which I merged with a separate hat piece, since that's kind of like a shiny variant that appears sometimes. And yeah, this looks good. Dare I say, that's what I've been waiting for. That's what it's all about. The final set comes out to 119 pieces. I'd say out of the three, this is probably my favorite, but it doesn't matter what I think, because with that, my time had run its course, and it was finally time for the LEGO expert to judge my work.
I love how jam-packed with stuff it is. Like, I feel like out of all the big YouTubers, he's the least organized and has like a YouTube studio. It's literally just his garage. I also like just the E-stop on the lathe and the whole lathe. Like, it's so well designed, and you can clearly tell what it is. Like, it just looks sick. I honestly don't have that much to nitpick on it. The apron's cool, the minifigure design, and the robot dog with the gun. Like, it's a cool little accessory. If I had to nitpick something, even though it's super cluttered intentionally, it just feels a little bit like jammed in, but you're also working with it like an 8x8 space, so it's kind of valid. But yeah, I'd have to give it a 9 out of 10 for sure. I really like the textures that you made, like the glass panes in the fireplace, and I think that's glowstone on the floor. The one thing I wish I would see is a custom creeper. I think that'd be cool. But other than that, it looks sick. It's pretty block accurate. I can tell that it's from Minecraft. I would give it overall a 7.5 out of 10. Honestly, this one's so cool the way it's jam-packed. I feel like it somehow feels less crowded than I Did a Thing, just because everything has a purpose, or you can tell clearly what it is. I love the vending machine and the little fridge with the drinks. Like, it looks sick. And the artwork you did for the poster, like to change that to a Lego minifigure. It's like a detail that Lego would definitely do. And the minifigure, it captures his like dull look, like his face. Perfect. I don't have anything to nitpick. This, I would definitely give a 10 out of 10.
With that, I was successfully able to impress the LEGO designer, but this isn't over until it's 10s every single time. See ya.